government institution. As you all know that there have become many issues arising on how to deal with social media in this wake of digital evolution and transformation. So today we as organization, we decided to be able to tackle that situation and help those in charge of social media in both the institutions to join us today as we give up an expert view of that. In the meantime, continue typing, continue texting where you come from. You can see Monica from the University of Nairobi has joined us. Continue typing, continue texting. We will start in a few. We are waiting for other people to join us. You can remind your colleague, you can remind your friend within your network so that they also may benefit from this. And also, just to remind you, we will also be having a certificate offered at the end of the training. I will shortly give direction on how to download your certificate shortly after we've managed to conclude the training. So Francis Ndolo from Machakos County Government, thank you for joining us today. Tekla from Kabarak University, asante sana. Continue inviting your friends, continue sharing with colleagues so that we may all benefit from this. I can see the numbers are rising. We'll be able to start at exactly 12:05. In the meantime, you can visit our website and look at the professional programs that we offer at Capable, and you can reach out to us if you have any challenges, any requests that you want. We are very flexible and we can accommodate you as possible as it can. So thank you very much. We are going to start very shortly. Continue typing. We can see Grace has joined us. Carol from the Attorney General, Winnie. Karibu sana. Join. You can request your friends to join, and there will be a certificate at the end of this training. The other thing that I would like us to know that is that this session is being recorded at YouTube at capable.com. So in case you miss a part of this session due to other engagements, work schedule, feel free to go back and refer onto it so that we make sure that you're able to grasp whatever you'd like. Thank you very much, Felix, from joining us. Continue typing, continue texting. You're joining us from, and we'll be able to start very shortly. So on my screen is possible related trainings that are related to today webinar. Our webinar today is social media crisis management for private and government institutions. So we also have innovative social media strategy on how we can use AI to ensure we have cutting edge content creation, and also the strategic marketing techniques, AI and communication skills for impactful customer relation excellence. Reach out to us if you would like any discount. Remember, we offer discount for group of 5. We will do at 79, at 49, at half the price. So at 49,850. So reach out to us and we'll be able to help you accordingly. Thank you very much. Continue typing, continue texting. Thank you very much. I believe we can start at this moment. So I'll stop sharing my screen. And also remember that there will be a certificate once again at the end of this session. I'll give an instruction on how to download it shortly. So I want to welcome the expert for today. Our expert for today is called Frederick Karithi Githui. He is an expert in social media management, and he will be able to take us through this. One thing that I'll ask from all of us is to ask as many questions as possible so that you may be able to factor any concern, any new innovation that is coming on in social media management. So feel free to ask your question on the chat box and we'll be able to answer them even as we proceed with this particular training. So I'll welcome Frederick to proceed from there. Then we'll be able to all learn together. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My name is Githui Frederick, and I'm a consultant, and I do a lot about social issues. And social media is one of the areas that we can't run away from today. Is an area or something that has great impact. It has become the village of today, where people talk, they gossip, and a lot happens in social media. You find that you can grow in social media, you can make money in social media, but it can also bring you down. And the question we ask, and I keep asking ourselves is, you find that the traditional media had a lot of structures. And institutions were able to work with the traditional media very well. But you find social media does not have those structures. So it becomes quite a big challenge if we are to work with social media and institution, mostly for government institutions that has a lot of bureaucracy, that before you post something, it has to go through approvals, and a lot happens. Even in other organizations are structured. The way they react to issues are structured. Unlike individuals who can just post anything. You also find that there are also people who work in those institutions. Remember, anytime you post something or you do something, we rate you in the institutions you work for. And sometimes we don't understand, are you posting because you are an individual or because of the organization? So those are the issues that make us look at social media as a bigger elephant that sometimes institutions are not able to handle. An institution that has 200 workers to monitor what they are doing on social media and how that impacts social media becomes a big challenge. So today, we are lucky that we are going to discuss. It's more of a discussion where I'm going to get your views, get to what you think, and we share. We are going to look at social media crisis management for institutions. That will be the topic of the day. And when we talk about institutions, we are talking about both government and the private sector institutions. So to understand, of course, we shall start by the introduction to what social media crisis is all about. Of course, anything you do, we start with an introduction. Then we look at the importance of social media for institutions. Of course, social media is very important for any institution. In an institution, I don't think in the current society, We have institutions that don't have a social media account. They're interacting with people, they're engaging people, they are selling their products. So it becomes an important tool. As a marketing tool is very important, as a PR tool is very important. So it's something that you cannot run away from. Then from there, we are to discuss common social media crises in institutions. We have there are common issues that basically a number of institutions face. You find that every institution, that these crises are somehow related. That what we are going through in this organization, you find another organization might be facing the same issues. Of course, we look at some strategies for crisis management. Of course, anything that succeeds, anything that exists, we must have strategies on how to get ourselves out of it. We must develop strategies on how can we solve these issues. And then we look at a few case studies, and then we look at the key takeaways, and then we go to the last part, the questions and answers. So as part of introduction, the first question I asked myself, how would we know that there's a crisis? Sometimes a lot happens in social media. So how would you know that this is a crisis now? These things are becoming serious. We need to do something. How do you tell that something is happening? Something is not okay in the social media platforms. The first thing you need to know is that sometimes you'll find a lot of negative attention in your institution. Something that involves reputation damage, and that is happening on social platforms. And you start questioning, this is not part of what we do. There's this information that is moving around that is making us get the negative attention. Every institution derives to get public positive publicity. So what happens when you find that today we are having a lot of negativity, that whatever is happening, people are just commenting wrong things about us? And most of the time, you'll find that this negative attention is coming from misinformation. Misinformation happens a lot. Maybe I'm working in an institution and I've been let go. I might not walk out silently. I might not walk out as if nothing has happened. You'll find that I'll walk out making noise, complaining. And sometimes I'll spread information that is not true. And I'll be saying, I've worked for that institution and I know what is happening. Sometimes you also find that you might make controversial decisions as an institution. Management is a tough job, is a decision-making job. And sometimes you find that the decisions you make might be controversial, might not be so popular out there. And an institution is not a populist affair. An institution is more about tough decisions. What works for us? What is going to happen? And some of these decisions will not be popular. Sometimes people will be expecting you to face towards a certain direction, and then you decide otherwise, and that becomes controversial. Sometimes a staff from an institution might make a very unprofessional post. You find that everywhere you go, you find you are attached to the institution you work for. If you're working for, let's say, Kenya Power, you'll be called Fred from Kenya Power. In fact, in most of people will save in their phone, Fred Kenya Power, Fred KU, depending on where are you working. So any post you make is attached to that. And sometimes it brings a lot of negative attention to that institution. Why is this person posting that and is from a certain institution. Of course, this crisis will spread so quickly. You find that if there's a hashtag that is existing on Twitter, it's moving so fast. Maybe by morning there were 200 posts. By even when you have 5,000, 10,000, you are trading as number one. And people are just cooking up stories about you. And then you find that we start losing trust in that institution. If a university is not to, if we spread misinformation about a university, assume you are a professor in a university, and you start saying that you can get a degree certificate in 1 week, and people attach that to the institution. But even people start doubting, is that institution giving genuine information, giving genuine certificates? And the people who graduated from that institution will have to suffer, will start suffering right here and then, the scrutiny. And so is from this university. So what is happening? Of course, to deal with that, sometimes you require swift responses. Be quick. Don't say it's nothing. People will just let it go. Don't celebrate that we are getting publicity, that publicity is publicity. No, you have to think, how do we respond? And as you respond, you have to be strategic. Make sure that your responses are strategic. Make sure that your responses do not even get you into more trouble. Sometimes you'll find that you might decide to be so hard on that person, and the person might play the victim card, and you might find yourself that you're even in more trouble, that you start questioning, why were you even responding in the first place? So as you respond, you need to be careful. You need to make sure that you're strategic. So when we talk about crisis, we also think about what is crisis management? Because we have seen there are crises, we have to manage them, because crisis will be there. You will not have people being quiet out there. As long as you're working, your competitors are there, they want to trigger something. People who just don't like you are there, they want to trigger something. So how do you keep managing this crisis? The first thing you need to know is that you need to have a process. Every institution needs to have a process on how do you identify, respond, and resolve negative situations that arise in social media. You find that as an institution, you need to have a way to identify what is happening. How do you monitor the hashtags every day? How do you make sure that people are not mentioning you in a negative way? How do you respond to comments raised on your social media platform? You first have to identify, because you cannot solve something that you don't identify, that you have identified that there's a crisis somewhere. How do you respond to it? That is done by a lot of monitoring social media. You need to you have to monitor the social platforms. You have to try to detect these issues as they arise, because you find that for something to go wild, the start is usually so small. Sometimes we even don't notice. Sometimes we think it will go away. Even sometimes we dismiss. We say, hii itaisha tu. We dismiss and we are like, this is nothing. We know this guy who keeps on posting a lot of issues, and it's nothing, it's not us. And because you have the facts, you feel so confident. But you need to try as much as possible to detect what is happening. Sometimes, as you respond, focus on transparency. Try to lay the issues down. If someone has raised an issue, say this is the procedure of what we do. If I've raised an issue that a client has sold me products that are not, let's say, expired. Share with us the traceability process in your company. Be transparent. Be quick to communicate. Understand that people are angry with you. People get angry without knowing facts. In fact, most of the time, before people realize the facts, they are so angry with you. So communicate with them. Be positive. Don't overreact. Try as much as possible to maintain the we are in charge perspective. Provide accurate information, because sometimes we might give information that is not accurate. That whatever you have said as you are posting on social media, if someone appears in another platform, they will share the same information. That you are not shifting goalposts depending on where you are. Control the narrative. Make sure that you have a narrative that you have created to counter what is happening. Of course, the main goal of doing this is to protect your reputation. You are as good as your reputation. Your company will be respected based on your reputation. What is known about you? If a university or a learning institution is known to offer fake certificates, that means that people graduating from institutions might not be quick to get jobs. It will be so difficult for them to get jobs. It also means that people will not be joining the institution. You might end up closing down that institution. Ensure that your responses are so strategic. Make sure that they minimize the damage as much as possible. Make sure that you try to counter that and show the real procedures that you use so that you don't end up even losing more. The other question that you ask yourself as an institution, as you start that social media page, an institution, if you have a Twitter account, that's an X account, a Facebook account, an Instagram account, the few things you need to ask yourself is, what is the role of social media to this institution? Why are you even starting that page? Why are you starting that account? Why do you need to be in social media? Because sometimes as institutions, you find that we start social media pages without having a purpose. And you'll find that it won't have any impact, because if you don't know why you're doing something, it might not have any impact. You find that it's not anchored well in your structured way of working. But some of the issues that you need to think about is it provides you with immediate communication. You can be quick. You see, social media you control. You can post now and it's there. But for you, for example, to communicate using the traditional methods of communication, like the newspaper, it will take 24 hours from where you are. That we have an issue today, we shall have to post it in the newspaper tomorrow. And then it will depend with the number of people reading that newspaper. But for social media, you can communicate right now. And you will communicate directly with the people, with their clients. They're on social media, they are looking for you. And they will need you to shape the perception they have about an institution. For those who study issues to do with brand equity, you find it's the perception we have about something. makes us want to pay value. That is the reason you will go somewhere and buy tea at an expensive price, but in another place you're not willing to pay that. It's a perception. So the communication that has been created has shaped your perception about who are we dealing with. The other one you need to do is that you have to know that you have to keep on engaging with the clients and also the public for government institutions. You find that most of the time, if you have a social media account, people will keep on, you post something and someone will complain right there and then. They will voice their concerns. You'll post something about this issue and someone will question about another issue that he saw in that institution. So you have to be quick to understand what are they asking. Don't dismiss them, that wait for that issue to be raised or visit our office. You are engaging with them. Some will even tag you in a comment somewhere else. You have to engage them. You have to realize that we are dealing with these people and these are our clients. And as we engage them, you will be tagged somewhere else. I'll do a tag and I'll do a post in my page or in my account and tag a certain institution. It's good to know that it's creating a way of engagement. Try as much as possible to understand what are these people raising issues about. Respond to them. Give them feedback. The other issue you find that you'll also need to know that the reason you're starting these social media accounts is for reputation management. You have a reputation. You find that both positive narratives will spread so quickly. Within a short period of time, people will be discussing you. And this can either impact you positively or undermine who you are. So always, as you start that account, remember issues to do with reputation are so key. You will not run away from that. You have to keep on checking what is happening, what is spreading about us, where are we being tagged? If you realize that you're being tagged about an issue, despite the fact that it's not related to what you do, try as much as possible to respond quickly. You find that sometimes those who work for government institutions, and we have, let's say, political issues happening in the political field. Those are external issues that you don't have control. But you'll find people saying, we shall have to resist. We shall resist products from this company because it's associated by the government. So how do you deal with that? You find that that is an external issue that is not related to what you're doing, but it will impact who you are. In the private sector, you'll find that one of your directors have said something controversial. But you have to, as much as possible, don't dismiss and say he doesn't even, he's not talking on our behalf. Try as much as possible to build your reputation. Make sure that most of the time we are seeing you from the positive side of things. Spread them as much as possible, the positives. The other question you need to ask yourself is, why is it important to have effective crisis management systems? Or why is it important that we have a system that can manage this crisis? Or why is it important to manage crisis in the first place? Of course, it is to maintain the trust that people have on you. Your clients, the public out there, they buy into ideas because they believe in you, they trust you. Someone will walk into an institution and buy your products and trust you with a certain project because they believe in you. They trust you. You are a consultant. Why will someone trust you with something? It's because of the reputation, is what they have heard about you. If an institution is to be trusted with transportation from point one to another, let's say from Mombasa all the way to Kampala, for someone to trust you with his product from the port all the way to that city, you find that you have to be trusted. If there was a reputation that you damage products in the process, if there was such information or misinformation going around, you find that you're going to lose customers. So to build trust, you need to have that. Your reputation is key. What do people know when they talk about you? You find that most of the time, before you join a certain, let's say, university or learning institution, you go asking, what is known about them? You'll ask, what happens in that institution? The people you'll be asking will not have facts. They'll be telling you what they have heard on social media. They'll be telling you the issues that they have heard about you. So make sure that the positives go out so much that not always they're talking about the negative issues. Sometimes it's also to prevent escalation of issues. You find that small issues that will keep on happening. As you run an institution, the fact is issues will be there. People will be complaining. Sometimes you'll not meet deadlines for clients. There are many issues that will keep on building up. So it's your work to make sure that we don't escalate them so much, that you are able to solve issues before they spread. Because as they spread, there will be a lot of damage done to you. And next time as you present yourself, you'll find that you'll have a lot of challenges. So the other question you need to ask yourself is, what is the importance of social media for institutions? An institution enjoys a lot of benefits from having a social media account. If you start a small or institution, a startup, or if it's an existing institution, or it's even the government, a government body, the first thing you need to know is that this is a communication tool for public engagement. Very affordable. It's very affordable. You don't need to pay. You just need to write what you think, and it will be out there. So take it as a communication tool. Whatever you do, try as much as possible to keep on communicating. Try as much as possible to know that anytime you do, you're communicating something. If you are a social media manager in your institution, the first question you should always ask your staff when they bring about anything is, what are we communicating? You can't just be posting something. As you respond to a comment, the first question you need to ask yourself is, what are we communicating? Because this is a communication tool. The other issue is, and this is mostly to government, it creates a lot of transparency and accountability to citizens. Most of the time, we doubt government and its institutions. And in fact, we criticize government and its institution. We say, wanakula pesa yetu. They're just eating our money. This is our taxpayers' money. You'll even find the commercial government institutions that are not supported by the government. We will dismiss them most of the time. But if you kept on sharing your procedures, sharing what you do. Sometimes you find that government institutions or even private institutions do a lot of charity work out there. They're out there, they are planting trees for the environment. They are dealing with the triple bottom effect. But they don't share those things to us. We don't see as if they are accountable. You will be given a budget of, let's say, 500 million. People want to see, what are you doing with our money? If you keep on posting, most of the time you find that every year you'll find institutions posting their balance sheet on the newspaper. The question you ask yourself is, how many people read that newspaper today? And how many people have the potential of saying you are doing nothing? You find that the social media has more people because they can be able to access them using free Wi-Fi. So be accountable to those citizens. Public information dissemination. Sometimes there's a lot of information that the government wants to share. And I've seen the mistake of trying to share those things in the traditional forms of communication, forgetting social media. And you might go down as an institution, not because you have done nothing, not because you're not even doing what you're supposed to do, but simply because you are not disseminating that information using the platform where people are. I like or I enjoy how politicians are able to learn quickly. You find that today you'll hear that so-and-so will be live at this time. And you'll find they can even be able to tell how many people were we engaging. Unlike the traditional media where you might not be sure how many people you engaged. It's also a platform to get feedback and also for citizen interaction. As a business, you need to get feedback from your customers. You need to get feedback and analyze that feedback. Traditionally, we used to have a suggestion box. Someone will come and write something. But today, the easiest way where you can get a lot of feedback is through social media. The comments you get when you post something, that is feedback you're getting about you as an institution. So that feedback, don't dismiss that these are paid people to damage our reputation. That is feedback you're getting. As a government institution, you're interacting with people. You find that sometimes government will come up with policies that are out of this world. Policies that people find it difficult to even understand. So and people comment and complain. That is feedback you're getting. It's also a remedy to the spread of misinformation. So if you find that there's misinformation, that is a quick way of responding to that misinformation. Don't say that we are going to post them on our official website. How many people will be there looking at your official website? How many clicks do you get per day in your official website? At the most, there are people just looking for jobs or tenders. But social media people are there. And as people go along their business, they will find information about you. So try as much as possible to know that you can get those benefits. What are some of the common crises for institutions? You find that social media is a place where there will be a lot of misinformation. I'm sure sometimes you have read information about your, or misinformation about your institution. And you're like, which information are these people talking about? Because it's fake institutions. Someone will share a document and say, this is from this institution. And once you look, even the people who have signed that document, they might have left that institution 7 years ago. And you're being told this is a current document. That the institution you work for has fired everyone or has gone to court and done this. And the people who are signing that document to authorize that is being shared as a genuine document left the institution 5 years ago, maybe even didn't find them. The other one, you find that you'll come up with policies about how you do things, mostly government issues, and there will be a lot of backlash. You find that there's a lot of negative public opinion about you as an institution. So it's a crisis. You find that how do we keep on dealing with this? Because you cannot survive in a competitive environment when we all think that whatever you are doing is wrong in the first place. So you find that there's a lot of backlash over policies and it becomes a big thing. People will keep on tagging you and tagging you and tagging you. And people will think that you are the source of these things. The other crisis you'll find is when there is an employee that works for you who is known to work for that institution and makes controversial comments or posts on social media. And the first question we'll hear is, this is just a mouthpiece of what that institution thinks. And you find that most of the institutions will try to limit what the employees post. They will start saying that if you work for us, you can't post political issues. You can't post religious issues. These controversial topics. Why? Because these topics are issues that can bring an institution down. And you find that as an institution, when your employee makes some of these comments, sometimes it's their opinion and they're entitled to it, but people will mistake that as your opinion. An employee will just make a comment that God does not exist. And you are in a religious society. And people will start saying, oh, we even knew they don't believe in God. And it will be attached to that institution. Sometimes you have seen that the official social media accounts of an institution have been hacked. And they will start posting issues that are not from that institution. And before people realize that you have been hacked, the amount of misinformation that will have been spread out there will be too much that you might find yourself wondering, how do you deal with this? Before you get the ICT experts to get your account back, to regain the controls of your account, they will have damaged you. And it will take some time before you convince people that was not us doing that. The other issue, you find that sometimes for government institutions, the government will make decisions out there. And you'll be among the institutions listed. You work for a public institution, a public enterprise. And then the political class will make decisions. And you'll have to suffer from that. You find decisions about taxations are being made out there. And there'll be public outcry. And in the process, you'll find institutions being targeted as one of the institutions that benefits from taxes and is wasting taxes. What are some of the strategies that you can use to counter this? The first one is you have to monitor social media at all times. Get the keywords that you can use to check whether there's anything being mentioned about the institution. Even in the education sector, look at higher education, the name of the institution. You can be able to tell what is happening. Get the keywords that are associated with you. Try to check the hashtags that are on a day-to-day basis. Once you find that, as you monitor and find something, your response should be quick. Acknowledge these things first, as soon as they come. Provide clear and honest information. Sometimes you will find yourself in deeper issues or in more trouble if you do not provide any clear information. You are not honest with yourselves. Then, as an institution, you need to have a crisis management team. It's not a full-time job, but have this committee that can be able to deal with these issues, that will consider the legal aspect on what you say, the marketing aspect on what you say, the public relations on what you say, all these issues. Because sometimes you might react and find yourself in more trouble. You find that whatever you have said, it's even better if you had kept quiet. Be respectful. Sometimes you'll find people attacking you. Don't be so rude to these people. Try to be as calm as possible. Talk about the solutions. Don't say fire for fire. You can't have fire for fire in the social media. It can bring your institution down. I was on Twitter today and I was seeing a hashtag like Occupy Churches. You will find that your church that had nothing to do with what is happening being targeted. So as a church, you have to be, don't start telling people, hey, we are not even part of what you're saying. Be as respectful as possible. Let your messaging be consistent. You might make a mistake of having so many people responding to issues as they come. Have a team that can respond to your issues and respond them from a central point of view, so that there's consistent, that what you said in the morning is consistent with what you're saying during the midday, and even in the evening, you are sharing the same information. Don't keep on having different communications coming in. This one is saying this, another one is saying this. Have a department or something. If it's the public relations department that is dealing with social media, let it be the central place. Whatever communication you want to offer, let it go through that channel. That way they're able to consider, is what we are saying now consistent with what we had said in the morning? There are many examples that we can use when we talk about social media management. There are many case studies that we can use. The private institutions have find it easy because they do not have a lot of bureaucracy. They are not affected so much by the political wing of the government. And you remember when we were talking about the business environment or the environment you operate in, we have the internal and the external. You find that their external policies are not so much. So the challenges they go through are internal. The issues that they can deal with. But for government, you find There are so many external issues that they will face. What will happen if there's a major flooding? And this flooding is displacing thousands of people. And it's destroying the infrastructure. You find that if you read on social media, you'll think that the impact is so high than what exactly is happening. You'll find that whatever people are being told, because people share, others will even share photos from different countries and claiming this is our country's burning. You find that something that wasn't so big is being made to look as if the world is coming to an end. Something that might have displaced just, let's say, 50, 100 people. People talk about 10,000 people have been displaced. We have killed, these people have died. I mean, one of the responses the government can do is first, it's use the official channels and provide real-time updates. What exactly is happening? What are we doing as a government? And that can be done. Share the photos. You know, people will say that there is no government official here. People even claim that there's flooding, we don't have government officials. Kindly, as you talk about that we are doing something, make sure that you even share the photos of your people working there. Have videos. Have people saying that the government is here. Record those things. They are very important. Sometimes there's also those policy issues that the government will come up with on issues to do with taxes. Sometimes we'll tax even essential goods. And this will have a lot of criticism from the public. You find that as a government, there's need to address the logic, the reasoning behind why are we doing what we are doing? Because you'll hear claims that people are being punished. The government is working to punish us. So it's for the government to make sure that they clarify that information. Have a live question and answer sessions. It will assist. Do a Facebook live, a TikTok live. Go where people are. Sometimes you find that a government website or a government social media account has been hacked. And it's posting a lot of false and damaging information. You find that a government institution does not work as a standalone. It works alongside other departments. It also have its trusted or employees known to work for that government. They can inform us that we have been hacked. And whatever you see, that is not what we are talking, is not our institution position on certain issues. That will make sure that the government is maintaining or is able to control the narrative. What are the best practices and guidelines when dealing with crisis management? You need to have pre-crisis preparations. Sometimes African states do not have a pre-crisis preparation, even as institutions. You, in your own institution, do you have a pre-crisis preparation? Or do you have a plan on how you can deal with social media crisis? Do you have a policy in place? Have you trained key staff members on how to respond? because they might react, but instead of assisting you, they make it even more worse. When it comes to dealing during crisis, prioritize the truth, accuracy, share the accurate information, be transparent, take your time and consider your responses. Avoid these knee-jerk reactions that we keep on getting, that will even lead to more criticism. Avoid those things. Once the crisis comes to an end, keep on evaluating the effectiveness of what did we do? Was it effective? Did we make things worse? Engage in damage control with the public. Come up with programs that will be able to handle the crisis you are accused of. If you are accused of not being responsive to clients, start recording yourself as you serve clients. Let people see how effective you are. Show people what you do. Also, you need to learn. Of course, everything is a learning opportunity. Learn and learn and learn. You have to keep on learning issues as they come up. Make sure you have learned from the best, and that by the next time you find yourself in such a crisis, you will even be better. What are some of the issues that we have learned or we have known today? Is that social media is a double-edged sword for institutions. So as you start as you engage in social media, first know that it has both the positive and the negative. As a tool of engagement, it can also fuel crisis. You can wake up and your social media team post something, and as you think that they are going to, as they think that they're making things better, you realize that they're even making things worse. So as they engage, let them try know that it can, whatever you post can either fuel crisis or make you be seen in a positive perspective. Also note that early detection and rapid response is very key to crisis management. Try as much as possible to try and identify crises before they happen. Keep on observing the keywords. We need to have those reports on, what is happening on social media. Don't just keep quiet. Look at what are people saying. You also find that issues about being respectful, accountable, transparent, empathy are key components in social media management crisis. Don't run away from that. Also know that every crisis offers an opportunity for improvement. Whatever happens, it gives you an opportunity to improve. You cannot run away from what is happening. It will give you an opportunity to learn and to improve. And that's how you become better. And at this moment, I'll be looking at your question, if any. So I hope, Eugene, you can take us through the next session.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. At this juncture, we will open question and answer session. So if you have any question, you can raise your hand. You can type it on the Q&A section so that we will be able to get.
I see Yvonne is saying we share the presentation. That one we will. I'll share the presentation.
All right, that's okay. We will be able to share the presentation. So for the certificate, as we write our questions for the certificate, kindly, I've shared communication on our chat box. To download, you'll have to click on the link, fill in the form with the correct details, your name, your official name that you would like to appear on your certificate, and you'll use 202 as your code. So kindly save the link, and you can fill in the form as instructed. So the certificate will be available from 3 p.m. You'll be able to download the certificate. I've been able to share the link once again on the chat box. So I can see there's a question. I can see
there is one from Benjamin. He's saying about bad social media responses. There are quite a number. It's just that sometimes you might not want to mention institutions, but not a long time ago, you will find that sometimes, and I don't want to go to the details of institutions, a client complained or raised an issue that was not related to that institution. You find that sometimes we confuse issues. And as the client raised, it was a private institution, an SME, by the way. And someone said, do you exactly know what you're saying? And the respondent was so rude. And it was such a big crisis that the owner of that SME, the one who worked as a CEO, realized that it was such a big crisis and people had started saying, reject products from XYZ. We are not willing to buy products from this company. It was such a big issue that until the person had to come live and explain that the person who responded is one of our staff, the actions has been taken against him. We as an institution don't stand for that. We don't bully our clients. It was such a big thing. And you find that it can smear your campaign. So be so quick to make sure that as you respond, you don't fuel the fire. Another question from Susan is, how do you handle smear campaigns? You find that competitors will always use pseudo accounts to smear you, to make you look as if you are not good enough. And as you respond to those issues by trying to clarify, because they will maybe discredit a process you have, as good as you work, try as much as possible with the consent of your clients to be recording what you're doing, to be, so that in case of an issue comes up, you can share photos, you can share videos, you can be able to, you have something to show. Because in the modern society, people believe what they see. People don't believe what they are being told. Someone be like, any evidence? And anytime you ask for evidence, you need something to show, a video, a photo, very important. Another question is, how do you build a strong online presence across all social media, assuming you're managing your own company platform? There are many ways you can boost your presence. Sometimes you find you have the way to get yourself out there through a lot of public relations, working with the influencers out there. The question that comes after is, will you be in a position to maintain that? Sometimes you'll visit a page that has 150,000 followers, 150,000 followers, let's say on Facebook. But their post is getting 15 reactions, 20 reactions, and you'll be like, how did they get these people if they're not able to engage them? So as you think on how do I get followers, think on how do I engage these followers? Who is your target market online? The products you sell, the people you're selling to, where are they found? What is their behavior? Because you find each platform on social media has a certain group that is there. You find that the younger people are mostly in, let's say, Instagram, TikTok. They're there. But as you age, you find the people in their 40s are more in Facebook, Twitter. So as you build your presence, first understand who are in this platform and not who has accounts, who are busy in that platform. Then target them in that platform. Don't just target people, don't just post, because you'll find that you have a following, but what you're posting is not related to what they are doing. And that is how do you remain relevant and visible? And that is what we are saying. How often should you post on an organization's social media platform page? You find that when it comes to posting again, it's who is your target clientele? And why are they in social media? You find that there are different things you can post. As an institution, you need to have a plan on what are you posting? Is that information relevant to those people? Or do they just see adverts? That as you post adverts, do they look as if they're adverts? I have seen people who are so good at marketing, and I don't want to mention names, that they're able to advertise in a way you think they're entertaining you. So you even want to see more. They are doing skits about adverts. Others just want you to see the adverts. They're doing this, very boring, because you're not in social media to promote people. But let them do it in a way that looks entertaining. And then first understand your customers. What type of issues are they interested in? What type of messages works for your customers? Because every institution have a certain clientele they're targeting, and they will want to deal with certain issues, or they will want a certain type of messaging. Anyway, Eugene, you can go on.
Right. Thank you very much for the question. And thank you very much for taking your time today to join us for this session. I know you had other things to do within your schedule. I'll just give one chance, if that's okay with you, Fred. Susan is raising her hand. If I can just give them some, just a minute. Yeah, is that okay with you?
That's okay. That's okay.
So that we handle this as our last question. There were two people. This Francis Ndolo. The other one has lowered her hand. So Francis, you can speak. Then we'll take one. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. As I understand before, my name is Francis Ndolo. I work as a communication officer in the county government of Machakos. And in one of my duties as a communication officer is to manage the social media pages of one of the county bosses. And as I had indicated on the question section, my boss has got a very huge following on his especially the Facebook page. And sometimes you may share something especially related to perhaps his day-to-day operations here and there, or an upcoming county event, or even something he has commented on the mainstream media. Sometimes, or even sometimes when he attends church or function somewhere, and you may find that the reactions in terms of likes, comments, here and there, they are so minimal. And despite the fact that the following is so huge. So my question is, how do you tailor the write-up so that it inspires or influences people to react or even to comment? Because when you follow some people like, I'm a follower of people like Pauline Njoroge, the digital communication officers, or like people like Dennis Itumbi, and when they share something, it attracts so many reactions within a minute, within a very short period of time. So I've been asking myself, what could be the reason? What is it? What is that one thing that I am not doing, so that I am not doing such that whatever we share is getting the necessary attention in the digital space? Thank you.
If I may respond to that one, you find that the first question, and this comes to, it happens to a lot of people managing accounts for public figures or politicians or people who are up there in the society. The first thing you need to, maybe by the time you joined, you already had that page. The first question that always affects you is, how did he get the followers? You find that if you become a big guy and you have been appointed as a CS, someone will come and tell you, I can sell you my social media page. So you find that the people there are not the followers of that person in the first place. So we just read that page and give it, let's say, Frederick Gedoi, CS Water, CS this, and then we go. So by the time people start noticing you're there, they'll find that you have 150,000 followers. And the people following you even don't know they're following you in the first place. To counter that, there are two things. You find that you share information about where he was, what he was doing, and everything. That you are sharing information about who he is. But have you been able to market him? Because the question is, have you been able to market him as a brand? He himself, does he attract people want to know where he is? Because you can share a lot of information about someone who is not even known, or who is known but is not in the news every time. You find that today, whatever Dennis Itumbi will post, no matter how non-impactful it is, people will comment. People are not commenting because of the information shared or how you have tailored the message. They are sharing because it is Dennis Itumbi. You find that Pauline can write 5 paragraphs about a certain topic, and people are going to read the entire topic. Why? Because of Pauline as a brand, not what she's sharing. For someone to be committed to that, you find that that person is now a brand by themselves. So they are willing to do anything. The same way you find that if the former prime minister visits a place, if let's say or the president, if he visits Machakos or Nyeri or Kisumu or Moyale, whichever part of the country he'll visit, people will show up. Not necessarily to listen to what he's saying, but to see him because he's a brand. Another politician will come up and people will not show up. So the first thing you need to do is to market your candidate first. Create the interest. Don't just share information about what he was doing. Whom are you targeting? How do you engage those people? Once you get how you can engage those people, how do you make that person attractive to those people? Otherwise, you'll find it's like an institution. You're just selling an institution. Institutions don't get many comments like the influencers. There are many ways you can do that. You can have him being mentioned by the influencers out there. It's a small amount you'll pay or a big amount, but the fact that it's being mentioned by people who have a big following, they'll be attracted to what you do. But if you just do it without having an external boost, you might not go very far. Eugene? Oh, Eugene, it's back to you. Francis, I hope I have dealt with your issues. Eh?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for answering the question. Thank you very much for asking and participating in this discussion. Feel free to reach out to us. As for the one who was asking, this is Capable Limited. We are a training and consultancy firm located at Nairobi. We offer trainings, professional trainings across the country in different professional level. So today we were focusing on marketing and specifically on social media marketing and managing crisis that comes around within the social media. So we have others for content creation. How do you engage your clients? How do you solve problem client employees conflicts? We have such training that are ongoing. For more, you can reach out to us at our email or contact us. Our numbers are at our website. So feel free to ask for anything, and we'll be able to help you within also your budget. So that marks the end. I'll just maybe remind us to ensure we've filled the form so that our certificate will be ready. Today's certificate will be ready by 3 p.m. So ensure you filled the link. I'll send the link once again. Yes, I've shared the link. So ensure you are able to fill in the link and you'll be able to get your certificate by 3 p.m. On other matters, see you next time. We have more of this training. We do not charge for this training. The trainings are aimed to ensure that we grow professionally and to ensure that we keep ourselves on check in the changing world, in the dynamic business environment. Yeah, to ensure that we also deliver on what is required for us. So thank you very much. Unless there's any burning issue, we will be able to end it there. And just to give an expert the time to just give his parting shot, then we'll be able to end thereafter. So Frederick will give you a parting shot, and then thereafter we'll just end the session.
Thank you very much. And thank you for the participants. A training is as good as the participants. The fact that they have asked questions, we have engaged, it feels good. And it's my sincere hope that we are going to implement what we have learned today. And in future, we are going to engage more. And thank you very much. I have nothing else to say.
All right, thank you very much. I want to wish everyone a wonderful afternoon. Enjoy your lunch and see you next time. Thank you very much and all the best.